Hey everyone, it's Wingspan TT, the fourth best commentator on YouTube, and today I want to talk about Titanfall, the biggest, baddest FPS is coming from Respawn Entertainment on March 11th. I was lucky enough to get into the Titanfall beta, and although I'm not really much of an arcade Twitch shooter kind of person, I really enjoyed myself with this game. It is fun. I mean, it's stupid fun, but it's fun. There's not a lot of tactical execution. There's not a lot of strategy. You put your crosshairs over people's head, you pull the trigger, boom, they die. And the Titans add a very interesting dynamic to the game. They basically make it so, while yes, you're running and gunning and shooting around, you kind of have this feeling that something big is always going to happen, that either you are going to get your Titan into play, or your enemies are going to get it, and you're going to be kind of on the move to deal with that. The Titans themselves are these monstrous machines that you climb into. If you've ever watched anything like Gundam Wing, Power Rangers, Neon Genesis, Evangelion, Attack on Titan, this will be familiar. Now, of course, it's completely unique. It's not like it really steals anything from those. It's not like, let's say in the show Attack on Titan, where there are these big things and then these soldiers going around with jetpacks, and the main way that they can hurt the Titans is by climbing up on their necks and hacking away at their necks. I mean, this game isn't like that at all, but it still has that epic kind of feel, like boom, these things land from the sky and you've got to deal with them. One of the things that's not getting enough attention in Titanfall is the movement, is the agility and speed of your characters. You know, you can dash around, you can run around, you can wall jump, you can run up to something, double jump, you know, wall run on the wall, then hold onto the wall, then jump off the wall, jump back onto the wall run the opposite direction, wall hang again, and then jump onto the back of a Titan and rodeo it like some fucked up cowboy. You're flying around at the speed of sound, shooting people. It's like Sonic the Hedgehog plus guns. Sonic plus guns, that sounds like a recipe for success for me. The Titans and the fast running basically means that the whole game has this sense of verticality to it that most games don't have. Yes, you could be running around the floor, you know, shooting people at ground level, you could be beating up the AI, you could be beating up other players, you could be collecting whatever it is you gotta, getting to the points you need to get to, but really all the action is usually going up above or below you. If you're on the ground, there's these huge machines coming and there's always people jumping around, running on walls and stuff over you. You've got to keep mind of what's on top of you. And it's interesting because although the Titans, right, you would think the Titans is massive giant things that you get into these mechs, they're very big, but just coincidentally, like, every building in the game is like 5 feet taller than the Titans, and the Titans cannot jump, or they can't stand on their tippy toes or climb or anything like that. So in some ways, being in the Titan, you're very tall, you're very big, you're looking down things, you're burninating the peasants, but in another sense, you're also very limited in the Titans because the humans can always get on top of you. They can always get higher than you can actually see, which means that even when you're in this hulking thing that just shoots death in every direction, you have this vulnerability of this blind spot to everything that's above you that you cannot really see what's on top of the buildings. It can come crashing down on you, except there really isn't any kind of damage modeling, so it's not, the buildings can't literally fall on you, but if they could, that'd be cool, but they can't, but it's still cool regardless. There's not really a lot of interesting weapons in Titanfall, at least not in the beta the way I played. I mean, you've got your standard, you know, shotgun and assault rifle. You got your standard pistol and sniper rifle. I guess the one thing that stands out is the smart pistol, which is a completely fair weapon. It's basically a pistol where you run around and anything in your field of view, it just starts locking onto them, whether it's NPCs or enemy players. And then once it gets a lock, you just pull your trigger and it just headshots them instantly. So, you know, you pretty much just jump around, you fly around, you keep enemies on your screen for a second or two, and then you just tap your mouse button and they just all die. Now that might seem overpowered, but well, it is overpowered, and I guess the most overpowered thing about it too is that you can lock onto multiple people at once. So you can run into an area that could be like 4 enemies and a player, and you can kind of like keep them all on your cursor, and then 1 second later you pull the trigger and your gun will just shoot like 10 bullets and just headshot all of them to death. Now this is a beta, so it's not final, but at the same time it's kind of like LOL worthy. I don't have the best aim, so I was crutching pretty hard on the smart pistol. Hopefully Respawn will balance this in the final, but if they don't, I guess that's what I'm going to be using because I'm an asshole. I wouldn't say this is completely unique, but in this game there's something called burn cards, and burn cards are kind of like a cross between perks and spawn pickups. There's special bonuses you get for completing in-game objectives, and there'll be little things like, you know, you get temporary boost in speed, or your weapon is slightly better, or even something big like, you know, you can look like an NPC, or you'll get a free Titan drop, because normally your Titans drop on a timer. These burn cards have to be selected before you spawn. You can bring 3 of them in in with you in a match, and they last until you die. So you could spawn, use a burn card. If someone snipes you from across the map, that burn card is gone. Little known fact, burn cards are actually based in reality. In the US Armed Forces, when you're done with your training, when you're deploying for your missions, it's actually very customary for your commanding officer to give you like a folder. Now, I mean, in Titanfall, it's like 3 cards. Typically, in the U.S. Armed Services, they'll give you 1 card. It's like a burn card. It's like a little perk that your commanding officer gives you. And it might be something like, hey man, I'll buy you a 6-pack, or hey man, like if you want to drive the tank, even though you don't have a tank license, I'll let it go. It's kind of like before you go on a mission, you go up to your commanding officer and you're like, hey man, I want to use my burn card and use it. You know, and sometimes there's rare burn cards too. Like they'll give out one that's like, you can kill up to 12 women and children civilians without getting court-martialed. That's a really cool burn card that I've seen some people in the army get, and that, you know, you could probably trade that for a couple cigarettes. But the reason, here's the funny thing, the reason to call burn cards is because at the end of the mission you have to burn the card, because if you're ever caught with them, the United Nations would probably have sanctions against the US, and it would be a real fucking big deal, you know, because they're war crimes. Technically they're technically war crimes. I think what's cool overall about Titanfall, though, is it doesn't force you into any one kind of play. There's a lot of speed, there's a lot of momentum, there's a lot of going everywhere, there's a lot of big, gigantic, cool moments, but at the same time you can kind of play how you want to play. So if you're not really into the Titans at all, you don't even have to really use them. Play the normal maps. When your Titans show up, you can have them land, and you can just put them in autopilot. You can put them in guard mode at some point in the map. You don't have to deal with them at all, and they can kind of just do their own thing, killing NPCs and fighting other players, or just acting as a big distraction. If you only like the Titan part of the game, you can play Last Titan Standing, or you can use your burn cards to try to just get more Titans and start the match with the Titan and just ignore the whole first normal human element. And then there's a big mix of that. You can kind of go around and just do whatever you want. You can snipe people, you can throw grenades at people, you can kind of mix and match the gameplay to fit whatever your own personal style is. So overall, I think Titanfall is extremely fun. I don't think it's necessarily the most innovative game of all time or anything like that, but as far as FPSs go, it really brings something new to the table, and it's just refreshing. It's just refreshing and fun, and the matches last just the right amount of time before they would get stale. So anyway, that's my impressions of the Titanfall beta. If you played the Titanfall beta, I'm interested in hearing what you have to say, what you thought about it, what you were looking for to change, or if you have any questions you would like me to answer in the comments, let me know. Well, everyone, I'm Wingspan TT from TopTierTactics.com. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you'll come back for the next video, and until then, cheers.